Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. I'm Emmanuel, I'm an Airbus pilot, and welcome to our first flight in the Sim Update 4 beta in Flight Simulator 2024. The SU4 beta has just seen an update that finally enables add-on aircraft like the A350, 777 or 737 MAX again, so we can finally give this one a go with proper add-on aircraft. Now, the main feature that we can visually see with the new Sim Update beta is obviously the night lighting, so I'm really looking forward to do this nighttime departure out of Munich, heading over to Shanghai. A lot of you have asked me to do a couple of VATSIM flights again, so that is exactly what we are going to do today, departing from Munich to Shanghai on VATSIM. Alright then, with that out of the way, let's get straight into this and get into our aircraft and start setting up for today's flights. And with that, let's also create a little bit of silence here again, and let's take a seat in the captain's seat of our Airbus A350. Now, we are going to get straight into it, as we don't want to create much of a delay today. That means going down to the flight up status, we'll do the SimBrief import down here, Lufthansa 726 Munich to Shanghai, and then we can have a very quick look into the flight plan and going over the most important things. So we can see that an on-time departure is going to result in a landing that's going to be pretty much ahead of schedule, so we can approach this one in a very relaxed manner. Now let's find our weather forecast, and for that we are going to start a little bit further down in the flight plan. Loads of en route winds. Here we go. So, Shanghai weather. 140 at 4 meters per second, broken clouds, temperature 30 degrees. And our first alternate, which is Shanghai Hongqiao, has the exact same forecast. Surprise, since the two airports are pretty much directly next to one another. Alright, with that we know that we've got good weather conditions, so let's make a decision on our fuel quantity. 71.4 plus 600 taxi makes it basically 72 tons as our minimum fuel. I suggest we're going to take 1,000 extra over here because we might encounter a little bit longer taxi time due to the busy VATSIM traffic, so let's make that 73 tons of fuel. We'll head over into the load sheet, do a SimBrief import down there, and change the payload to become 73 tons. Alright, that's looking quite good, so we'll set the zero fuel weight, we'll set the fuel, and we'll definitely do that one with an instant load, and here we are. Alright then, let's go up into the GSX menu and request boarding, and since everything is now in progress, we can start with our flight preparations as well. So preliminary cockpit preparation. Engine master levers off, start selector norm, thrust levers idle, landing gear lever down, wipers are off. The airplane's powered already, so we don't need to check the battery voltage again. So we'll put the ADS 1, 2 and 3 into nav. We'll do the fire test, and that is looking good. So let's go ahead and start up the APU so that we can get some air conditioning going for our passengers. Now, since our refueling should be completed, let's also turn on the signs, and indeed refueling is completed. Alright, APU start is in progress, then let's head down to the FMS. We'll delete any of those previous items over here, and then we'll go to init and do the company flight plan request. Alright, flight plan received and insert, and here it is. Now that's triggering our flight plan init, we'll just print that one, that's fine. And then we can go down to ATC.com, we'll be using VATSIM today. And now let's go to DATIS and do an ATIS update down here, so that we can get the latest for our departure. Might take a little while, take a little bit longer using VATSIM. Alright, and indeed it's not giving us any VATSIM ATIS at all over here, just the standard METAR. That's fine, so QNH 1029er, we'll set that up down here, and we'll also set that up here. Alright, cool, that's looking good. Then let's go over into the OIS once again, and do our takeoff performance calculation. We are departing Echo Delta Delta Mike, the runway is most likely going to be 08 right. And for the weather, we've got variable at 2 knots, so let's make that a tailwind. So 260 at... what is this thing doing? Here we go. 260 at 5. the temperature this night is 4 degrees QNH 1029er. So 4 degrees, why is this in inches? Alright, no idea why this is in inches. Okay, but 1029 equals 3039. Good enough. Alright, cool. Takeoff weight in pounds, don't ask me why, but actually tell you what, down here it is. So hectopascals, tons and meters. That's the easy way, isn't it? Alright, cool. So we ordered 1,000 extra. That means going into the OFP, we should be looking at a takeoff weight of 255, well, 256. So let's say takeoff weight 256.0, config 1, air conditioning off, and compute. Alright, and that's looking perfect. We can easily depart. Max takeoff weight is 317, so with that we know that we're good to go. Let's try that with a little shorter runway as well, 3,800 meters to calculate for the intersection, but that shouldn't make much of a difference, and it doesn't. Perfect, so the OIS is looking good. Then let's just prepare a couple of terminal charts down here. So we'll go with the APC East, the AGC, and then we need our departures, which are from runway 08 left and right, QD to Echo departure. Now comes the difficult path of actually finding that. So 08 right. Why do all those charts have to have such strange names? But this one it is. So QD to Echo. Alright, great. And all of that is prepared. Now, since that's done, let's check our aircraft status, and everything up here is looking good. Sufficient oxygen pressure, rain repellent level is normal. Then we can head right down into the hydraulics, and those are full. Engine oil quantity, for that we'll need the FADEC 1 and 2. So let's get that thing up and running. Here we go. And the engine oil is full. Wonderful. Alright, very cool. So that's the basics done up here. Then flaps up, spoilers should be retracted, and that matches the indicators. Perfect. Alright, cool. So then, since that stuff is now out of the way, surveillance pages all set off. Very good. Let's go ahead and start working on our pre-flight procedures. So crew supply on, ground recorder, or flight recorder, ground control on, ELT armed. The rest is looking good up here. Everything's looking good over here. APU bleed is coming on. Refueling is completed, so we can turn on our fuel pumps. Fire check is done. Maintenance panel is checked. We don't have any temperature sensitives, so let's put that off. CBR test is looking good. Then we can move right down here. Not much to set, to be honest. We'll do the frequencies a little bit later. We'll just keep that stuff where it is. But we do want to listen to VHF 1, VHF 2, as well as the interphone, and we want to transmit on the interphone as well. We can already pre-select 1 to 1.5 in VHF 2, and that's it. Now you can have the same settings that we have, and obviously the same for the third pilot, since a flight like this would be operated with 3 pilots. Alright, so like that. Perfect. And with that out of the way, let's get straight down into the FMS preparation. Now, I'll be doing it like this, so that you guys are actually going to be able to follow what we're doing. So, Lufthansa 726, Munich to Shanghai, alternate also Shanghai, cruise flight level 350, and the temperature up there is forecast as minus 48 degrees, with a tropo proportion 28,000. That is low. So, 28,000, and then temperature minus 54. Alright, cost index 100 is going to remain in there. The IRSs are aligning on the GNSS position. Now, departure, runway 08 right, and it's going to be the QD, no, not input, but QD to Echo. That looks good. Insert. And for the arrival in Shanghai, we're looking at runway 17 left for the time being. The approach is going to be an ILS Zulu approach, and our star is going to be the Sierra Alpha Sierra 82 Alpha arrival. So that means a lot of strolling ahead of us. Like that. Perfect. Temporary and insert. Very nice. Then let's go on the flight plan info, fix info, and we're going to enter Munich 08 right over here with the radial 080, which is our extended center line. And then we can also create an emergency waypoint, which we are going to call Munich X2. Like this, and that's going to be based on Munich 08 right, bearing 080, distance 25, and store. Alright, nice. So let's get right back to the fix info page, and fix number 2 is going to be that same Munich X2 point. Nice. Now let's return and go back to the init page. Nav 8, we don't need to tune anything over here. Fuel and load, and this is where things get interesting again. So zero fuel is 183.5. We don't know of any CG yet. The block fuel is 73 tons. We don't know any passenger numbers. Then let's find our fuel figures. And here they are. So alternate is 2. Final reserve is 2.6. And the route reserve is going to be 2. Alright, that's looking good. So return, takeoff performance. And we can simply send this from here. And confirm. Packs off. That stuff's set. Engine out acceleration will be 1500 above the ground. So 3000 feet. Position monitor, we are going to insert Munich 08 right. Okay, on the climb page there is nothing in here. Then on the takeoff shift let's enter 200 meters for the possible intersection. Now let's go to the secondaries, and number 1 is going to be an import of the active. And we are going to insert our engine out waypoint over here, so MUK X2, like that. Create a holding over there, and that's going to be 1 minute lag time. Looking good. And then we'll set up an immediate return, so new destination, that's going to be Munich, and in here the arrival is going to be an ILS approach to runway 08 right. Perfect, and that thing is in. Now let's go back to the secondaries, and secondary number 2. And that's going to be a copy of the active. Beautiful, and with that we've inserted everything we needed up here. So going up to the top then, we've got the QNH in there. The initial climb is going to be flight level 70, and you can have the same setup on this side. Beautiful, in arc mode, just like on our side. Okay, then let's just dim those displays a little bit. And then I suppose we are going to go ahead and request our departure clearance. So ATC.com, request, clearance, departure. Munich, our gate is 251 and our ATIS is not available, so I'll just call it Alpha down here. Alright, transfer that to the mailbox, and then let's see what we got. So request pre-departure clearance Lufthansa 726, Airbus 350-900 to Shanghai, at Munich stand 251, ATIS Alpha, that looks good, and we'll send that. Alright, and that's sent. Now let's see if the clearance is going to come back or not. Well, and in the meantime, while we're waiting, let's go ahead and cross-check that our SID is actually correct. So for that we'll go to the plan mode, we'll bring up the departure chart, and then we've got a C. So actually need it somehow like this. So straight ahead to Delta Mike 080, maximum 230 knots, then it's going to be a right-hand turn all the way to Radki, which has a 250 limit, and then via Maybach to Kirdi. And look at that, exactly as we're expecting it. That was an easy one. I wish all SIDs were that easy. However, it looks like for some reason we're not getting any answers from the controller here. So let's actually go ahead and request our clearance by voice. If data link isn't working, that's the fallback that we've always got to be able to use. Oh, and look at that. While I'm talking about it, here's the data link clearance. That makes our life easier. So, request being processed, stand by. Thank you. Close. And here's the clearance, so print that please. Then, PDC number 40, Lufthansa 726 cleared to Shanghai of 08 right via QD2 Echo, squawk 6670. Actual departure time based on the mean departure interval. Next frequency 121.730, ATIS Alpha. Request startup according EOBT on 121.730. Okay, 121.730. That one goes in here. And then page 3 and 4 are empty. Okay. So, the important stuff. 08 right, QD2 Echo. And in here we've got 08 right, QD2 Echo, and squawk 6670. Here we go. Perfect. So, Wilco and send. So, did it print the clearance? Yes, it did. Excellent. Very nice. So that stuff's done. Then let's get started with our departure briefing. So it looks like boarding is also almost complete. That's very good. So we're departing Munich, runway 08 right, QD2 Echo departure, initial climb flight level 70, MSA 3700, extra fuel and time. Let's see, well, it doesn't calculate yet, but we've loaded an additional 1000 kilos, that is about 10 minutes of flight time. So, no hotspots for our planned taxi routing, and our stop margin is not going to be very much today. Engine outset, straight at 25 miles to the Munich X2 point, climbing 4000. If we need to make an immediate return, we're above the maximum landing weight, but not by much, and Munich's got 4 kilometers of runway, so we can return immediately should we need to. Apart from that, I've got nothing special, nothing non-standard. We do have a speed restriction today, which is, however, not going to be too much of a problem. Green dot is 222, so even with the 230 restriction, we can clean up all the way. Do you have any questions or suggestions? No? Lovely. So that's our briefing confirmed. And the clearance is confirmed down here as well. Excellent. Then let's do the cockpit preparation checklist, please. So, gear pins and covers removed. Fuel quantity is 73 tons balanced. Barrel reference. QNH 1029, our cockpit preparation checklist complete. Alright then, let's say hello to our passengers. Boarding should pretty much be finished. Liebe Fluggäste, einen wunderschönen guten Abend aus dem Cockpit. Hier spricht Ihr Kapitän. Mein Name ist Emanuel. Im Namen der Lufthansa darf ich Sie ganz herzlich an Bord unseres Airbus A350 auf unserem gemeinsamen Flug nach Shanghai begrüßen. Flugzeit heute 10,5 Stunden. Wir erwarten einen weitestgehend ruhigen Flug. Lehnen Sie sich jetzt schon einmal zurück, machen Sie es sich gemütlich und genießen den Flug mit uns. Wir melden uns dann mit den neuesten Daten, sobald wir unseren Anflug starten. Wir erledigen jetzt noch den letzten Papierkram und dann werden wir auch in Kürze unsere Pushback starten und uns auf den Weg in Richtung Shanghai machen. Vielen Dank für Ihre Aufmerksamkeit und herzlich willkommen an Bord. Ladies and gentlemen, a very good afternoon from the flight deck. This is your captain speaking. My name is Emanuel. In the name of Lufthansa, welcome aboard our Airbus A350 on our flight to Shanghai. Today's flight time will be 10 hours and 30 minutes, expecting smooth flight at an altitude of initially 35,000 feet, later on climbing up to 39,000 feet. Thank you very much for being on board. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the flight with us. And if there is anything we can do for you to make it more comfortable, please do not hesitate to ask any of our cabin crew. Thank you very much, and once again, welcome aboard. Alright, so our guests are dealt with. Then let's actually go ahead and remove the external power already. Like this, and a quick check down here of what's currently going on. I think boarding is completed, so prepare for pushback and departure, please. De-icing is not needed today, thank you very much. And then the ground power can be removed, and the parking brake is set, so the shocks can be removed as well. Looks like GSX is ready for pushback, so let's do the final load sheets. Zero fuel weight is 183.5. And that's what we've got, and the associated CG is 31.2. So, passenger number is 293, is it? No, 291. Okay. Lovely. Our takeoff weight is now unchanged. So our performance remains valid. And that's all we need. Lovely. Let's just go down here into the ALC menu, but there's a final load sheet down here. 255.9. Let's see, we calculated 256, so that's perfect. Alright, beautiful. Everything's done down here, then let's call ATC and get our pushback clearance.
Flight level 70, squawk 3560. Mohane 103, clear to Tehran, Rotex for Echo departure. Flight flying route, initial...
so just a quick wind data insertion down here.
3560. Correct.
Right. Wind and delivery, Shanghai Abend, Lufthansa 726 Heavy, request startup.
So 726, hello, startup approved for pushback 121.710, ciao.
Startup approved 121.710, Lufthansa 726, cheers. München Apron, schönen guten Abend, Lufthansa 726 Heavy, request pushback.
Lufthansa 726, München Apron, servus, pushback approved, facing south.
Pushback approved, facing south, Lufthansa 726. So, before start checklist bitte. That's park and brake, set, takeoff speeds and thrust. 129, sorry, 149, 152, 157 and flex 44. Slides, armed, nose wheel steering disconnect memo, checked, before start checklist complete. So, ground from flight deck. Pushback and startup approved, facing south, and the park and brake is still set. Okay, so facing south and Echo 2 release park and brake. Park and brake released, starting the pushback, and we're standing by for your signal to start the engines. Roger. Alright, that's what I call an efficient pre-flight procedure. So, we're all set up here. Then let's just make sure we've got the move map down here as well. And on the terminal charts, I do want the AGC. That way we're now prepared for everything that they could possibly throw at us. Okay, so ground from flight deck, we're ready to start engines 1 and 2 in that sequence. Roger, clear 1. Okay, so let's give it 10 seconds. And here we go, engine 1 start. So, that gentleman down here is running right into the engine once again. Welcome to GSX. Don't do that at home or at an airport. But I suppose you can't have it all, at least not always. Okay, ground, we've got a good start in engine number 1, starting engine number 2. Clear 2. So, waiting for a veil to show. Here we go. Engine 2 start. Okay, the pushback is complete, so park and brake. Park and brake set. And look at that, we pushed back at 18. Schedule is 20, so we're actually going pretty well today. I love it when things go the way they're supposed to. Also, look out here. You can already see the lights of Munich in the background there. That's exactly the direction we have to find the city. Okay, so I see a tuck, but I don't see anything else just yet. Well, I see an Emirates A380. I suppose he's going to go home this night as well before the airport closes. Alright, there's a tuck. He's got a tow bar attached. And we've got 2 good engine starts. So, ground flight deck, please prepare the airplane for taxi. See you with a clear signal on the left-hand side and have a good evening. Bye-bye. Alright, it's trimmed itself. Down here is the clear signal with the pin. Beautiful. And let's do the flight control check, please. Full up. Full down. Neutral. Full left. Full right. Neutral. Rudder. Full left. Full right. Neutral. After start checklist. Anti-ice. Off. Flight controls. Checked. Ground clearance received. After start checklist complete. Lufthansa 726, request taxi.
Lufthansa 726, taxi to entry Sierra 7 via Echo 2, Delta 4.
Taxi entry Sierra 7 via Echo 2, Delta 4, Lufthansa 726. Okay, so that's Echo 2. Delta 4 should be over here somewhere. Yeah, here it is, and Sierra 7. So straight ahead to the end, right, left. Cool. Left side is clear, right side is clear. Parking brake released, and we can turn that floodlight off now. Okay, let's go. We'll disregard the destination EFOP message over there. Brake check. Brake's okay. So it looks like there is exactly nobody out here right now. Hey, it's interesting. It's
Munich apron, guten Abend.
aha, there is traffic.
To have you requesting
For a moment I was about to say, what's going on here? It's event evening. I was expecting things to be super busy here. Lufthansa 726, can we take the shortcut? I suppose that means no.
Lufthansa 8 mission apron, good evening. Lufthansa 726, contact count on 121 is my 830 ciao.
121 830 Lufthansa 726, tschüss. München Raum, schönen Abend, Lufthansa 726 at Sierra 7.
Lufthansa 726, good afternoon, 60, holding point 8 right, via Sierra and Bravo 2.
Holding point 8 right, Sierra Bravo 2, Lufthansa 726. Okay, Sierra is going to be the first to the right, and Bravo 2 is the second from the end. Very good, very easy. So the left side is clear. Beautiful 747 over there. I wonder what they are doing in Munich though. Probably diverted. Yeah, well.
06, hello, second right, November entry.
Okay, the right side is clear, then we'll go all the way to the full length. Clear right side. Gotta love the way they built those taxiway over here, saving money from the edge lights and just putting a centerline light in here. But that's how it is in the real Munich as well. Just saves a lot of electricity and thus costs.
Mike Alpha now after the crossing Lufthansa 250 from the right.
Okay, beautiful. So, no changes to the briefing, huh?
All the A350 Sierra 6, counter Mike Alpha.
So, cabin should be ready. Now they are. Okay, taxi checklist please. So, flap setting, config 1 plus F, radar, on, taxi checklist complete. Okay, we can remember Bravo 2, so let's go all the way to the full length. Now to review the most important parts of the takeoff briefing, it's a left seat takeoff from a 08 right, flaps 1 plus F, takeoff speeds 149, 152, 157. We contact departure when advised by air traffic control, and the SID takes us straight out with a right-hand turn. Speed restriction 230 knots, and that is above the clean speed, so we can clean up all the way. Apart from that, nothing special, nothing non-standard, and in case of any emergencies, straight ahead 25 miles, climbing 4,000. Immediately turn to either runway is possible, and if the plane's on fire and we can't extinguish it, then we can just do a visual traffic pattern here as well. Any questions?
121.
No? Lovely.
Understood, my count.
For the 206, contact apron 121.
So it looks to me like we are going to be the only ones at the holding point. I like that. Clear to Bravo 2, as you can see that's right at the full length.
For the 6 glass, holding point 8 right via Sierra and Bravo 3.
By Sierra Bravo 3, holding point 8 right, 6 kilo alpha.
So a little bit more thrust, let's try to get those 30 knots and maintain them all the way to the holding point. And now I'm really looking forward to get airborne and seeing the improved lights from sim update number 4. The night lighting in FS 2024 has already been amazing. I mean, just look at the glow above the city over there. Lufthansa 726, negative.
Okay, then continue Bravo 2 and monitor tower 120505 jump.
Continue Bravo 2, monitor 120505, Lufthansa 726, schönen Abend, tschüss.
Danke dir.
Okay, he said monitor tower. That means we do not call the tower, but they are going to call us.
Left approach, the right side.
Squadron fast 06, good day, number 2. Lufthansa Trade Alpha, contact apron 121, jump.
So he just told someone that they're number 2 on 08 right. So that means there is a little bit of traffic coming in, but I suppose it's 2027 right now. I'm actually recording it at that very same time, so this is real life time right now. So it's 3 minutes to the end of the event. So yeah, definitely makes sense that we've got lots of inbounds at the moment with very few outbounds. Okay, Bravo 2, set taxiway, that one over here. So, this gentleman is just about touching down. Let's hope that we are quick enough that we can fit in between him and the other guy.
Hello, Lufthansa 726, after next landing, Airbus 321 at 3.5 points, final line up on the 08 right behind.
Schönen Abend, Lufthansa 726 behind the Airbus on a 3.5 mile final line up 08 right behind. Okay, so traffic on a 3.5 mile final. Thereafter it's our turn. Got the correct holding point here, so let's go to 10 miles range already. Weather on my side, terrain on yours. Neither is going to matter, I hope.
With Malta Fast 06 with Lena with 207 right, clear to that.
So, can we see him already? Yeah, there he is. So, here's the wigwags, that's where the holding point is, even though it is a little bit difficult to see.
Lufthansa cargo about 37, turn left on Tango, hold short of Bravo 8.
Left on Tango, hold short Bravo 8.
Okay. Parking brake is set. So, there he is.
hello, Shanghai 6 kilo Alpha taxiing on Sierra,
Cabin crew, prepare for departure.
right.
Hello, Lufthansa 6 Kilo Alpha.
Come on, turn the pack off, please.
Munich Tower, hello, good evening, Mahane 103 Heavy.
Okay, so behind him, line up.
103, hello. Call you back, step by.
And line up checklist, please. So, cabin secured. Takeoff runway 08 right, Bravo 2. Flags 1 and 2 off. Line up checklist complete. So, he's rolling out somewhere in the back there.
One 103, turn now right on Sierra, taxi via Sierra and Bravo 2, turning point runway 08 right.
Mahane 103, taxi will be point 08 right via Sierra, Bravo 2.
Just gonna love the way the A350 taxis.
Lufthansa 726, Atlanta between us, runway 08 right, clear for takeoff.
Runway 08 right, clear for takeoff, Lufthansa 726.
With
Ready?
506, taxi to entry center 6
Takeoff.
via Sierra.
Stabilized. Man flags 44, SRS, runway auto thrust blue.
Could I have that again, please? What's the
506, taxi to the second left on Sierra to entry Sierra 6.
Thrust set.
Taxi on second left, Sierra to entry Sierra 6.
Lufthansa Cargo 137, taxi via Bravo 8 and Romeo to gate 905, with weight to 340, right to left.
100 knots. Checked.
Another one, approaching Lufthansa Cargo 137, no worries, taxi via Bravo 8 and Romeo to 905.
B1.
Rotate. Positive climb.
6 Kilo Alpha, line up 08 right.
F. Checked. Beautiful rate of climb. Thrust decline, climb auto thrust.
Lufthansa 726, identified, no approaching contact, departure 127, decimal 9055, goodbye.
127 9055, Lufthansa 726, just
With Malta 506, hold position.
München, Shanghai, Lufthansa 726 heavy, passing 3200, climb to level 70.
The 726 München, how to identify, flight level 1 is correct in 120.
Climb flight level 120, Lufthansa 726 heavy. 12,000 blue.
7 with the current is on 5,000 feet,
Flap 0. Speed checked.
Center altitude 5,000 feet, QNH 1029, I've
Flap 0.
The 252 is on altitude 4,000 feet, QNH 1029.
So, just look outside. And look at those lights, especially the ones towards the horizon. That looks quite cool, doesn't it?
Delta Mike 451, Austrian 111.
So, acceleration flow pattern, flaps up, orders retracted, landing gear up, packs on. Acceleration flow pattern complete.
So that's 57 with Sierra, speed 250 knots, right? Speed 250 knots, all good, concept 50 in future. So the 252, that's under 1,500 feet per minute, right?
Just love the agility of the A350. Flies so nicely. Even though we're at 255 tons right now, it flies like an A320. Let's done that. Standard cross-check, passing flight level 48. Now. Checked.
So the 57 with Sierra, left heading 357.
Alright. Autopilot on, and now let's take a moment to have a look at the beautiful scenery outside.
The 252 contact direct.
I mean, look at that. Some pretty beautiful lights, but especially those where it doesn't show the 3D lights. Look at the ones in the back there. That's really a great improvement with sim update number 4, seeing that we now see those lights very clearly, but it no longer has those huge areas of lighting where like all the fields and stuff were lit up like we had it with the previous version. So that's a good improvement. That's a very good improvement indeed.
On the 726, plan to flight level 190.
Lufthansa 726, climbing flight level 190. Flight level 190 blue.
Very good evening, Lufthansa 6 Kilo Alpha.
Alright, this is exactly how we appreciate it. So let's have a quick look down into our FMS now. Estimated time for arrival 0655. It still says that we'll have a little bit too little fuel, but I forgot to enter the step climbs from the ground, so that is the reason why. Once we do that up in the air, that's going to be easy. Apart from that, our performance says optimum flight level 357, maximum 367, so 350 is actually a good level to start off with, and nothing hard tuned down here, so that's easy going. Alright. Lovely. So weather is not a problem at the moment, so let's actually change over to terrain, because the terrain will be a little bit more interesting once we get past there.
The 177, descent to flight level 8.
Okay, so let's bring up those step climbs over here, because we will be entering them in a moment, as soon as we're above flight level 100. Remember, below level 100 it's always sterile cockpit, but above level 100 it'll be absolutely easy going. And here we are, crossing 100, couple of clouds over here, engine anti-ice on. And engine anti-ice is on. So, speed limit 250 over Radke. I'll keep the seatbelts on because of the high pitch for the time being until we start accelerating. And then let's go ahead and enter those step climbs. So, step outs.
From the 177, descent to flight level 80, 1,000 feet per minute.
Let's see, level 370 over at Fallas. So Fallas 370. Then going on, we've got level 390 at Marev.
33 Foxtrot, descent to flight level 110.
So Marev 39, and then at Sarin we'll have level 391. Which is basically Chinese flight level 390. And then later 11,900, well that's the same altitude. And then we've got 411 over at Ampeg.
111.
Alright. So, Tempe insert. Now let's have a look at the fuel prediction. And we're now also past the Radke speed restriction. Pitch is down. With that we can turn the seatbelts to auto. And we're above the weather, so let's also turn the engine anti-ice off. And now look at that. 0652. 9,000 kilos. 122.8 Lufthansa 726. Bye bye. Alright, with that we're over to Honeycomb, and we are out of Munich, so I would say enjoy the beautiful lighting of the scenery as we're climbing out of Munich over here, and then I see you all tomorrow on our approach into Shanghai. morning everyone. We are now on the approach to Shanghai and preparing our Airbus A350 for our arrival. You have probably seen that I've already entered about everything that we needed to know, so we are just about passing through the transition altitude over here, so set the QNH please. And that's 1010 cross-checked, passing 11,100 now. Now we're descending into metric airspace over here, and that means we gotta use a couple of those conversion tables that we can see down here. So for the time being, let's descend to an altitude of 1,500 meters, which equals 4,930 feet. So let's go ahead and set 4,900 down here. And, well, then we are now descending to that altitude. You can see that that nicely brings up the exact altitude here via our VNAV system. I do like that. I do like that. It takes a little bit of time to get used to flying in metric airspace, but it's not overly difficult. Okay then, let's go ahead and have a look at the expected conditions for our approach. So looking down here in Shanghai, we're expecting wind of 150 at 8 meters per second, which equals 16 knots. It's basically just MPS times 2, then you've got the value in knots. Clear skies, 29 degrees, QNH 1010. We're on the QNH already. We are nicely descending via the arrival. 10 hours and 20 minutes in the air, and I think that's a very good time to start briefing for our approach, so let's go for it. Now, approaching into Shanghai, we are following the Sasan 81 Alpha arrival, MSA of about 4,000 to stay safe on all sides. The minimum is 210 for the ILS Zulu approach runway 17 left, and in case of a go-around we got a couple RNAV waypoints eventually turning us towards the right, and then looking down here in our flight plan, 2,960 feet, so 3,000 on our FCU is the go-around altitude. In terms of extra fuel and time, we've got 3.6 tons, which equals 42 minutes. Now, coming into Shanghai via flaps 3 approach, using flight director guidance, idle reverse, BTV, vacate to the left side, and then taxi to gate number 77 today, which means we got to roll for quite a little bit. We are landing on 17 left over here like the real flight did, and then we've set our BTV to vacate via Alpha 2, and then we're going to taxi via Tango 4 to the other side, Romeo 5, and then 77 is located over here. And if you're wondering why we're landing on the 17 instead of the 16, well, that's because the real flight did so, and so I thought, well, we are just going to do the very same thing over here. Okay, and apart from that, I've got nothing special, nothing non-standard. We are familiar with the metric airspace already, and if you've got no further questions, then I'd call the approach briefing complete. So, speed error, that's copy, not gonna be a problem. 230 knots. Interestingly enough, even though it's 230, our speed target over here is still 250. Interesting. Well, in that case, let's help the plane. So select the 230, and I'm going to help it a little bit down here. Half speed brake, that should get the job done. Interesting that our VNAV system is not responding to that speed restriction over here. I wonder if it's going to respond to that one, 210. We can nicely follow the target speed restriction by looking at the magenta dot on the speed indicator over there. That speed brake's also coming back in now. Alright, so with all of that done, let's do the approach checklist, please. That's going to be barrel reference, QNH 1010, minimum is barrel 210, runway condition, dry, and auto brake, ETB, approach checklist complete. Okay, so let's actually do an open descent over here, down to 3,000, from where we are going to start the approach. I don't see any traffic over here. Obviously, we are on Honeycomb land this early in the morning. So, yeah, not much we can do right now. But let's get that display brightness back up again. That's rather useful on the approach. Alright, cool. So then I suggest we'll just go on to heading mode and vector ourselves towards the final. So Papa Delta 013, direct 2, course in, and what's the runway track? 168. Like that. Enter, insert. Cool, here's our extended center line. And then let's make a right-hand turn into the base. That's going to be heading 080. And since there is nobody in terms of ATC that we've got to deal with, we will still fly the standard speeds, but since we are not going to be too busy for the rest of the approach, let's do that stuff manually. Just gotta absolutely love the way the airplane flies. And yes, guys, I do really mean it. Alright, and we can see that the speed target is actually going down towards the 180 that we've got in here for the arrival, so let's make sure we've got that. Manage speed, flaps 1. Speed checked. Flaps 1. Okay, so final turn, that's runway 17, that means heading 140, and then we're cleared for the ILS approach. 1000 to go. Lock star. Shanghai traffic, Lufthansa 726 heavy, established ILS 17 left, 14 miles. Lock. Okay, so passing Papa Delta 13, speed should be 180 according to the chart, and that's what we are flying, and thereafter we can reduce 160 until 60 ME. Alt star. Okay, so flaps 2. Speed checked. Full speed 160. Activate approach phase. Glass looks dark. Go around altitude 3000 set. Just look at how nice the airplane flies. Flight slope. I'm not sure why a good bunch of the internet thinks that the A350 wouldn't fly good. I mean, I really disagree with that. Flies pretty enjoyable, pretty nice. obviously that's when you've got your hands on the controls. Alright, so gear down.
2,500.
Checked. And flaps 3. Speed checked. Flaps 3. So we're approaching 60 DME. That DME seems to be accurate as well. Manage speed. Oh, is the cabin not showing ready? Now it is. Good. Okay, landing checklist. Decap memo. Landing no blue. Landing checklist complete. Okay, so nicely established here. Approach the 1,000 foot gate, everything's done. We are nicely established on the final. Wonderful. Scenery looks nice here. Alright, so let's focus on making it a good landing now. I do like looking at the outside, but we should probably have the autopilot on when we're doing so. Interesting scenery behavior in front over there, and look at how that's distracting me.
100 above.
Well, that looks nicer, doesn't it?
300.
Looks like I spoke too
Minimum.
soon. Continue.
200. 100.
No comment on this scenery here.
50, 40, 30, 20, retard, 10, 5.
Spoilers! Reverse green, decel. And then we'll take the next exit. Alright, and with that, welcome to Shanghai. Now don't ask me what those black things on the scenery are. The important stuff, aka the taxiways, are all here. Okay, so to the left over here, and then we'll taxi all the way over to the other side. Stamp number 77. But first things first, let's make sure that we've got our airplane clean. I just love how easy this is on the A350. Shanghai traffic, Lufthansa 726 Heavy, 17 replicated, taxiing this down 77. Alright. So then, I don't know why GSX starts flashing once again down here, especially if it's not opening in first place. Here we go. Gate, 0 suitable parking. Something tells me that that's not right. Okay, so 77, here it is, and no, that's not too small. No follow me needed. Handling by Shanghai Airport Services. So, we're on Tango 3 at the moment. We'll turn next left onto Whiskey, and then via line 8 towards the parking spots. Clear on the left side. Down to 10 knots. Alright, so a few words about the flight while we're still taxiing in. And well, let's start with something that happened en route. You might have noticed a little bit of transition there at about 4 hours and 15 into the flight, and I'm not 100% sure what happened there. Obviously I went to sleep overnight, and when I came back my computer was off. So apparently something happened that had caused it to shut off overnight. Couldn't find anything in the event viewer, so ultimately I just decided that I would use the autosave function of the A350 and reload the flight en route, which worked very, very well, and then I just continued filming. Now, on the approach to Shanghai, for some reason it wouldn't want to show me my Lido charts, so I had to switch to a Navigraph here as a backup, and those are now working very well. And I really have no idea what happened with the scenery. I guess something involving Sim Update 4 that's not working. It's been a little while since we've flown to Shanghai though, so there might have been something with earlier versions, and I just can't tell. Okay, so 79, and then next is going to be ours with 77. Alright, here it is. So, there's a guidance system up there. It says A350 on it. Would be nice if it was a little bit closer. Ah, this looks okay. This is not too far. I don't know what's wrong with you, GSX. Alright, parking brake set, APU is almost there. Shutting down 2. Waiting for the APU. Avail, perfect. And shutting down 1. Cabin crew, all doors in park. Okay, here we go. Engines running down. Beacon off. Let's see if they disarm the slides or if we've got to do it ourselves. Might as well do it manually. That way it's going to be faster. Here we go. Okay, fasten seatbelts. off, fuel pumps off, and transponder off. Good, parking checklist please. So, park and brake our trucks. For the time being, that's the parking brake set. And wing lights off. Parking checklist complete. So, thank you very much for watching everyone. We've made it to Shanghai. Let me know your feedback in the comments underneath the video. Unfortunately, as was to be expected when doing a flight like this with VATSIM ATC, when we are departing like at the time where there is ATC online in Europe, we are landing somewhere where there is definitely no ATC online, so I'm afraid there's nothing we can do about this. But nonetheless, thank you very much for watching. Leave your feedback in the comments underneath the video. As always, like, comment and subscribe, and if you really love what I'm doing on this channel, I would appreciate a small donation through the Buy Me Coffee link in the video description below. Thank you very much for watching, and I'm looking forward to see you all again on the next one.